So hi on the Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with.
Ali Richardson, drummer of Bleed From Within.
There are some questions today about their upcoming album Zenith. So congrats on that. By the way, how do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Yeah, it's been fucking great, man. Having a really good time. It's a good time to be in Bleed From Within. People are enjoying the songs. Can't ask for much more.
Hell yeah! Well, we
Damn
got to
straight.
hear the record early, and it fucking rips.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
That's a glowing review. I could see the smile on your face there, Glory. That's
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you're picking that up.
yeah. No, that's great. That's why we do what we do, you know. So yeah, response has been great so far to the singles and stuff. And there's just, as you guys have probably noticed, there's still a lot to unpack on the album as well, which was a deliberate choice. You know, the first song in particular is a bit of a fun one for us. So yeah.
Damn straight. That's
Hell
my
yeah!
favorite.
Yeah.
So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah, the title, I was just telling this story on the previous interview actually, but we wanted to call the album Zero, and then a week before we were going to announce our album title, fucking Linkin Park dropped their latest album
Oh,
and
come on. Mm.
stole the name from us. We've been sitting on Zero for 2 years, but we had Zenith on the back burner, and yeah, honestly, it's got a nice double meaning for us. It really takes stock of everything that we've done so far, and you know, we just toured with Slipknot in arenas around UK and Europe, and we've got some big headline shows coming up of our own this year, hitting some main stages at festivals that we've been playing on much lower down for the last 10 plus years, 15
Mm.
years. So it's Zenith is really reflecting on where we're at as a band and everything that we've put in. You know, this is also our 20th year as a band. So yeah, we're just taking stock of that here. But the other meaning is a sort of above you at any one point. The zenith
Mm.
is like the highest point above you. So
Hmm.
zenith means we respect where we are and we're reflecting on that. We're enjoying it. But to many people, we're still a new band, and we're also, you know, we're fucking humble, grounded,
Yeah.
all the rest of it. We're well aware of where we sit in the world. So it's kind of saying we've got a long way to go, and we're not gonna stop. You know, we've been doing this for a
Hmm.
long time, and we will continue to do so. So that's kind of underpins everything that Zenith was about. It's about growth, it's about change, and it's about where we're at right now.
Wonderful.
Gotcha.
And then the cover art.
Yeah, cover art was just an extension of that. Really, we wanted something that signified growth, and for us, we'd been working with our bass player Davey for the previous three albums that were all illustrative pieces of art that he'd put together. And for this, we wanted to do something digital. Ultimately, we wanted something metal. We wanted something
Mm.
dark.
Yeah.
And we just wanted that kind of regal element, something that was something that caught your eye. And we've all been a fan of Bill Ellis's work for years and years. So we reached out to him. He's actually based in Edinburgh, in Scotland. So he's been a fan of the band for a while and was really, really happy to work together. And he just delivered. You know, we've got something that's striking, eye-catching, it's bold, um, and it's unmistakably metal as fuck. You know,
And
Damn
that's
straight.
the goal. Hell yeah!
Mm.
that's the goal.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the album?
Yeah, it started over 2 years ago. We had some of the riffs sort of knocking about just before Shrine came out, I think, or just not long after Shrine had been released. So early 2023, we really got stuck into it, and yeah, it was we used a different artist as I just explained, and sonically we were going to move away from our friend Adam Nolly Getgood, who's mixed the previous three albums. Nolly still tracked the drums, and he's still very much a part of Team Bleed From Within. You know, he's somebody that we confide in, and even when we were looking at different mixes, he was involved in that process. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? But
Mm.
um, it was important for us to change things up this time round. We just wanted to put ourselves in a situation that was away from the comfort zones kind of thing and just see what that would open up creatively. And I really think it helped, man, especially towards the end of the process when we were tracking vocals, adding the sort of additional layers, additional production and stuff like that, and just polishing off the mix. And then when we've got the physical copies of the vinyl now, and to hold it and then to listen back to it, it's apparent that the shake up was needed, and it was very good, and we're
Okay.
very happy with the finished result.
Hell yeah! I mean, we're talking about like the band being at their zenith of the career. You know, doing all of these massive things, massive festivals. What was there a particular reason why you guys decided this time around was the time to to shake things up and step out of your comfort zone with the album?
Nothing in particular, no. I mean, I think it just fell. We had three albums of this, you know. We had Era, Fracture, and Shrine,
Mhm.
and to me, that just seemed like a kind of trilogy. It was a good time to just change it up, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's obviously the age-old saying, "If it's not broke, don't fix it," because nothing was wrong that we were doing. It was just kind of like I like that idea of it's just what comes to you when you put yourself in a different situation, you know. I think there's the old quote of, I think I've probably said this in a few interviews now. I'm going to sound like a fucking broken record, but insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, you know. So
Mhm.
I think there's an element of that, and then just yeah, you put yourself, you know, if something seems a bit daunting or scary, everyone knows this now. As you get older, there's usually something great on the other side of that. So
Yep.
you kind of take the take the comfort away and just see what happens. And this is what happened. We wrote a fucking fantastic album that we're very happy with. So
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hell yeah, it's wonderful. So, what song off the album took the longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
personal favorite is track one, Violent Nature. It's
Damn straight.
Me too.
fucking yeah,
Mm-hmm.
see,
Mm-hmm.
Glory knows. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yup. Let's go.
Um yeah, Violent Nature's fucking brilliant, man. That's the best song I think
Insane.
we've ever made. And I love that we're 20 years in and still, you know, I still get this feeling from demos and stuff where I go, fuck, that's the one that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we made a choice, deliberate choice to not release that as a single, so that when people put the album on, when the day, you know, on release day, there's something brand new for you to hear as soon as you hit play.
Mhm.
Um, and it's arguably the best song. And then, was there another part to that question, or was it just the favorite song?
Yeah, which one took the longest to write during the entire
Ah,
process?
honestly, I don't know. All our songs take quite a while because everyone gets a say. So
Hmm.
I think they all took a while. I think and Placing a Halo was a difficult one. We didn't know where to go with it, and then Gunzi had his idea for the bagpipes. So that kind
Mm-hmm.
of sat. We've had the first half of that song
Mm-hmm.
for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say either In Place of Your Halo or Edge of Infinity, the last song.
So you said most of the songs take a good bit of time. So like roughly how long does it take for one song to come to fruition?
I mean, they're never finished. You know,
Oh,
if
well,
you ask anyone that question, I think they'd probably say the same thing. There comes a point where you just have to fucking leave it alone, and that in itself is like a creative decision to just be like, it's done.
Yeah.
We can't
yeah.
do it anymore. So yeah, I honestly don't know. Sometimes it happens really quickly. Sometimes it takes fucking months. Sometimes if there is a problem with it or if it's really tricky, it will just get shelved,
Mm-hmm.
and then Gunsey will, or Stephen will revisit it in a
Mm-hmm.
few months, write another few songs, get back in the flow of it, and then go back to an idea. But yeah, it's hard to say really.
Fair enough.
No way.
So how did the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener of the opener, close be a closer? Did shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
Violent Nature was written with the very intention of being the album opener.
Can
That
tell.
was yeah, good. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we went in there with that. It was kind of inspired by like it was just a bunch of songs, man, from albums back in the day. People Equal Shit and Great Southern Trendkill and Combustion by Meshuggah and stuff like that. It's just when you hit play on an album and it just fucking punches you in your face, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was written for that purpose. And then honestly, Edge of Infinity, we didn't even think about too much until very late on in the process. I think it's when we started tracking vocals and we went, this deserves to be at the end. And it was actually after the vocals were tracked that we ended up putting there's a whole load of like ethereal sounds at the end and the piano that plays, recorded by Dan Weller, who recorded the vocals as well. Ex member of Sixth, shout out Dan.
Mhm.
But yeah, as that's honestly one of my favorite things about the album. It's the two bookends. It starts so extreme and so heavy, and the last thing that you hear are just these little tinkering piano notes.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in between is a fucking journey. So yeah, we put a lot of effort into making sure that this, as a body of work, just took you know you're going through the whole range of emotions from start to finish.
Yeah.
And I think we achieved that. We're very happy with the finished product.
Absolutely. So the two bookends were kind of intentional. The rest of the record, was it just kind of based on vibes the way it's sequenced?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, you've got a dying sun in the middle there, which I think is track 6, and that actually marks the flip point for the vinyl. So
Mhm.
that
Oh.
was another kind of choice. We wanted to finish things off with A Hope in Hell, and then when you flip the disc, you start with the kind of eerie, dark sounds of Dying Sun. So we did put
Mm.
effort into the kind of physical element as well because I know like Gunsy's a vinyl collector. I've got a bunch of vinyl, but I don't even have a player. At some point,
How
I
it is,
will.
man.
You
Yeah.
know what it is. Everyone's,
And
and I'm sure.
that's
Sure.
very typical these days with how popular vinyl is. People just buy it to have it. They can't even play it.
Mm-mm.
Exactly. I did have a vinyl player that's broken, and now if I always get I've got like Pantera vinyls, Lamb of God, I've got Tool, and then if I just see something that's really fucking good, I'll be like, I'm gonna buy that.
Just
Yeah.
gotta have it.
At some point in the future, I'll have a vinyl player. I've obviously got all of the band's stuff as well, but yeah, A Dying Sun was made for that experience. You know, when you sit and listen to it and you flip it and you put it back on, the second half of the album really starts there.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah, love it.
100%. So, would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
I think, like I'd mentioned already, it was really about growth and change for us, and everyone was going through a point in their lives where a lot of stuff was going on. You know, I think people were. It's just a lot of things, man. We're at this age now. It's funny. I was just talking to someone else about it earlier today, a friend of mine, that we joke we're 35. Kennedy's just became a father literally last month.
Oh.
And the flip side of that is I don't think I've been to more funerals than I have in the last few years. Do you know what I mean? So
Mm.
everyone's dying. There's new life left, right, and center. I've got so many friends that have just become new parents and stuff like that. And it's there's like I was saying before, there's change there. There's a comfort zone that you kind of I don't know. I maybe felt like I was in throughout my 20s and into my early 30s, whereas the whole writing process of this album for me, there's just a lot of stuff that's gone on and changed, and I think as we felt that as a band. So that's kind of where we're at. Bleed from Within lyrically just always kind of talk about what it is we've gone through from album to album. There's usually defining moments that happen in our life or happen
Mm.
in the world. I mean, there's so much shit going on in the world today. You'll know living in the fucking US.
Yeah, tell
Jesus,
me
man.
about it.
God.
It's not even satire anymore. I think it's hard for the comedians to actually make it funny because it is so out there. But
It's
Yeah,
fucking, yeah.
all this kind of stuff just plays into our music and what it is that we choose to sing about. So yeah.
lots of life changes. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should do in the car with friends, in dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
All of the above, mate. All of the above.
Yeah.
It's got enough on it to party, but obviously there's some really ethereal, atmospheric stuff that we've experimented more with. We've always kind of toyed with, but even a Hope in Hell has that element to it. Dying Sun, Immortal Desire with Brian from Mastodon on there, and then Edge of Infinity, known by no. To be honest, I'd say that second half of the album starts to get darker and a bit more atmospheric, a bit more ethereal, but. The first half, maybe you listen to the first half with all your mates, and then you just sit and have a wee cry together for the second half. Maybe that's the best way to do it.
While you're driving them back to their houses, you listen to the first half. The second half is when you're driving home from the hangout.
Mm.
That's it. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Hell yeah.
And this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Essential,
Mm-hmm.
honest,
Mm-hmm.
dark.
Hell yeah.
Those are
Good
good.
picks.
Hell yeah.
Good picks.
And in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
I think the first line of A Hope in Hell is a good underpins a lot of what the album's about, which is when sanctuary is all you have left, it's time to walk the tightrope without the net. Um,
Mm.
the album it signifies change for us and recognition of where you're at and what's to come. And I think if you go into it with that approach, it makes it all a little bit more bearable.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are pissed off at the state of the world right now, Violent Nature, Chained to Hate, those songs are for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been going through a hard fucking time, A Hope in Hell, Dying Sun, Immortal Desire, all these songs are there for you. So yeah, I don't know, just really enjoy it and try to. I think for people that don't, that's what I love about the physical product now. Like got the vinyl players, and I've got mates that I appreciate this. This is why I know I'm going to get a vinyl player because it forces you to listen to the album almost.
Yeah.
It's very different to just people go through content at such a rate these days. They hear a single, it's on kick-ass metal, they can just fucking skip if they don't like it. Whereas you put them time in here, you buy the product, you sit down, you have to turn it halfway through. I would just keep yourself, allow yourself to listen to this
Yeah.
album.
Yeah,
Really listen.
the vinyl experience forces an active listening that honestly in this day and age we just don't get anymore because everything is basically so passive even when you're trying to actively listen.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Imagine how we feel.
Yeah, as the artist, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking dog shit. That took 3 months, and someone goes, "Yeah, skip."
Yeah,
You're
skip.
like,
Halfway through,
Kind of
5 seconds
blows.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
before the bagpipes even kick in, fucking hell.
Exactly. You're
Gotta
missing the
hear
best
the
part.
bagpipes.
Come on.
You know.
Jesus. Ugh.
Yeah.
So for these last couple questions, we're actually gonna shift away from music if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Great. So we're actually gonna go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I've thought of this. I've thought of this before. I've never been asked it. Death row last meal, man.
Yay. Yeah. All right.
That's difficult. I feel like I'd just be wasting it if I said just like a really good steak and a red wine.
It's classic.
That is a classic, isn't it? It feels
Yeah,
a
you
bit
can't go wrong
cliche,
with it.
but I don't know. I feel like it would. I feel like I'd probably do that. I've had some amazing. There's a chain in the UK called Gaucho, and it's like an Argentinian steakhouse,
Okay.
and they do a fantastic like their cuts of like fillet steak and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And then they've got this amazing selection of Malbec wines from that region, from Argentina, obviously.
Mm.
Uh, Probably something like that. And they do this truffle dauphinoise potato as a side.
Mhm.
It's just wild.
Yeah.
I'd probably do that, and then I'd request like a cheese board as well, like full bottle of wine, two
Of
bottles.
course. I mean, it's your last meal.
It's your last meal. Yeah,
Yeah.
magnum of wine, and then
Yeah.
yeah, steak with a nice cheese platter afterwards. I think.
Hell yeah.
Hell
Wonderful.
yeah. So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
I tell you what was a beautiful game was the Ghost of Tsushima. I'd like to be in that timeline and that time
Yeah.
was that looks great. I
Mhm.
think everyone would agree. So put me there. I'd love to be a fucking ninja. How cool would that be? You know what I mean?
You're fucking awesome. Yeah.
A ginger ninja. Just saying that.
Come on. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Badass.
Okay.
Badass.
Fun.
And I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has actually said it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Ginger.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, hell yeah.
I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
call it orange if you want, but yeah, I do love orange. I love green and orange. Probably it's between
Yeah.
the two. I mean, literally, my couch here is kind of we've got like the orange.
Oh, the little accents. Yeah.
Green goes well with orange, and I am rather orange, so you know.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Hell
I
yeah.
love it.
So as Glory said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Well, thanks for the questions. This was very fun. Again, a breath of fresh air. Sometimes the press can get a bit monotonous throughout a campaign like this, but this was great. Really enjoyed it.
Happy to hear it.
Thanks to anyone that's checked out the singles so far. Zenith's coming soon. Pick up a physical copy if you can. If you can't afford anything, just stream it. Just tell your mates. Come down to a show. Fucking enjoy it.
Mhm.
Thanks for the support.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Now it's been Ali from Bleed From Within, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.